Okay guys, today we are going to work problem 311B. You're going to be doing problem 311A for homework, so this is the B version. Just like some other videos I've done, this one is very similar to homework, just different numbers. And what we're doing here is we're going to learn how to complete a form 941. Now you use this form, this tax return, to report to the federal government the amount of FICA taxes and income tax withholding for each quarter. Okay, so in this problem 311B, we're looking at the third quarter, and it's for Gallagher Company. So let me tell you what page this problem is on. Problem is on page 354 of your book. So remember, with FICA taxes are comprised of Social Security taxes and Medicare taxes. Okay? In addition to, so FICA taxes, Social Security, and Medicare. Remember, it's both the employer and employee have to pay this tax, right, or these two taxes. The employee pays one half and the employer pays the other half. We see here 12.124, this is 12.4%. Okay, remember, 6.2% is paid by the employer and 6.2% is paid by the employee. Same thing, Medicare down here, it's 1.45%. If we multiply that by 2, we get 2.9%. Okay, so this is both the employer and the employee's portion. Now remember, the way this works, the employer withholds this amount from the employee's paycheck and pays it to the federal government. The purpose of this return is to show the total amount that is owed. The company acts as an agent. They withhold the amount from the from the employee, and they pay their half. This is where we show what the total of those two amounts should be. We report it to the federal government. In addition, any amounts that are withheld for federal income tax purposes from the employees, we report this amount here as well. So there's three things that are reported on this form, or primarily three things. Okay, we have the income tax withheld from the employees, and so this is what, you know, when you look at your W-2 at the end of the year, which is right about now, when you're starting to look at preparing your tax return, and you look at the amount that was withheld from your pay, right? That's paid to the federal government, and it goes towards paying off your tax liability for each year. Okay, so this is where we report the total of the employees, the total amount that was withheld from all the employees for each quarter. And then over here we have the amounts withheld and owed by the employer and employee for Social Security, and same thing, both halves here for Medicare. Okay, so the form's kind of self-explanatory. So let's read the problem first. Let's see what the problem says. The problem says, refer to problem 311B. It says Gallagher Company, for 311B, it says Gallagher Company has gathered the information needed to complete its Form 941 for the quarter ended September 28, 2012. Okay? Using the information presented below, complete parts 1 of Form 941 produced on the next page. So we're going to fill out this 941 here. It tells us the total amount of employees is 15. So let's see here. Give me 1 second. Sometimes this computer can be a little slow. Okay, total number of employees is 15. Remember, it's Gallagher Company, and if we go up top here, we see we have the name of the company. You're going to see here in just a second, as soon as this thing loads. Okay, we have the name of the company here. We have the address here, the city, the state, the zip code. We have the EIN, which is Employer Identification Number. It's like a Social Security number for the company. And over here we have to indicate what quarter this is for. This is for the third quarter of the year, which is July, August, and September. So we had 15 employees, which is given to us. They tell us in this problem that the total wages were $89,352.18. They also tell us that the total amount of income taxes withheld from the employees was $10,195. In this problem, they tell us that the Social Security wages and the Medicare wages are the same amount, $89,352.18. So in this case, nobody was paid more than the maximum amount that is taxable for Social Security. In 2012, remember, that's $110,100. Remember, Medicare, the full amount of all your wages is always subject to Medicare. Okay? So we simply multiply the total number of the amount that was taxable for Social Security. Same thing for Medicare. We multiply those by their respective percentages. So 12.4% for both halves, employer and employee, looking at $11,079.67. For Medicare, we're looking at $2,591.21. Okay? If we add those two together, we're looking at $13,670.88. 88 cents, I'm sorry. Okay, so remember here we got to total these two together. We got to total the amount of income taxes withheld and total the amount of FICA taxes. We total those two guys together, we're looking at $23,865.88. Now, we calculated this up here using these percentages, but if we were calculating, when we were calculating it on an employee by employee basis, there's many times going to be a rounding difference. Box 7 is where we would account for this rounding difference. They just, in this problem, give us this 4 cents as being the rounding difference. Now notice when we're filling this out here that we're not using any dollar signs, and anywhere that there is a blank, we just leave it blank. We don't put zeros in it. We just leave it blank. If there's ever a time where you need to put a negative anywhere, you use the negative sign. We don't use the parentheses. Okay, remember, in some of your other accounting classes, you've learned that when we have a negative number, a lot of times what's standard practice in the accounting world is to put it in parentheses. But anyways, on these forms, they want us to use a negative sign. So if we add box 6E and box 7, if we add those two together, our total tax adjusted for the rounding difference, $23,865.92. Okay? How much did we deposit? It tells us in the problem here that the total deposits for the quarter, it tells us we deposited $23,865.92. So our tax was the same amount as what we deposited. Therefore, when we get down here to the bottom, we see that our balance due is 0. Okay, this is the first page of this. Now let's flip this, or I shouldn't say flip it over. Let's go down to the next page, page 2. Now, in your book, the completion of page 2 is actually a different problem, which is 312B. And basically what they do is they say, hey, look, refer to the previous problem and fill out the second page of the Form 941. Now remember, in this example, we're in Sacramento, which is in California, right? So if you were doing this for a company in North Carolina, you would have an NC here. Now, in this problem, 312B, they mentioned to us that we were a monthly scheduled depositor. So, and they tell us the amounts here. It says, Gallagher Company is a monthly depositor with the following monthly tax liabilities for this quarter. Okay, they tell us in July, $7,891.75. Okay, August, $7,984.90. And the third month of the third quarter is September, which is $7,989.27. So the total tax liability for the quarter is $23,865.92. Okay? Let's scroll down here a little bit further. We've got to sign this thing. Okay? Now, the president of this company is James Gallagher. Okay, we need to date this also. So, if it's a partnership, we need one of the partners who's involved in the business to sign it. If it's a corporation, we need an officer, president, vice president, somebody like that to sign this thing. Okay, we have our phone number listed on here, and that's it for these two problems for 311B and for 312B. So you're going to be working problems similar to this for your homework. And as always, if you have anything that you're stumbling on or want clarification with, or having any problems at all, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email. I'm here to help you. I want you to succeed, and would love to hear from you. Thank you, and have a good day.